GATE is considered to be one of the most difficult exams in the country today. And in this series, we are going to start off with solving some GATE previous year question papers so that it makes it easier for you to crack the exam. Hello everyone, welcome to the latest series of Score Settled regarding the GATE exams. Now, how is GATE exam different from the UGC NET or the CUET PG exam? Basically, the main point of difference is the mathematical nature in it. And GATE and IIT JAM exams mainly focus on the mathematics side of economics, and yes, they will not go here and there, they'll just target the concepts. That's the precise way of explaining the IIT and the GATE exam. Okay, so let's start off with this paper that is from GATE 2025 and let's start solving this. In the first question, in the context of a perfectly competitive market, identify the statement that is not correct. Okay, first statement is that producing less than the competitive output lowers welfare. Yes, this statement is true because the competitive output ensures that maximum welfare has been reached. Okay, this will ensure that. So if you're producing less than the competitive output, so that means you're going to ultimately lower the welfare, and welfare here will include both consumer surplus and the producer surplus. Okay, next statement is that producing more than the competitive output lowers welfare. Yes, because if you're producing the output, if it is more than the competitive output, then in that case the producer is operating at a loss, isn't it? And as a result, what is happening? The producer surplus is falling, and when producer surplus is falling, welfare is automatically decreasing. Okay, third is that the welfare is dependent on both price and competitive output. Yes, the prices and the competitive output will decide what is the consumer surplus, what is the producer surplus, and also what is the total surplus. Okay, and if a consumer values the last unit more than its marginal cost of production, producing an additional unit shall lower welfare. No, this is the statement that is incorrect, because if the consumer is valuing that unit of output more than its marginal cost, producing more of it will rather increase the consumer welfare and hence will lead to an increase in welfare and not decrease the welfare. So D is the right answer in this case. Moving on to the next question. Now, the demand function is given as in the log form, where Q is the quantity, P is the price, and A is the positive real number. The own price of elasticity of demand is, it is inelastic. Why? Because a 1 unit change in price is bringing about less than 1 unit change in quantity. So the proportionate change in price is more than the proportionate change in quantity. So a change in price is not bringing much of an impact in the quantity demanded of the good. And what is this? It is the case of an inelastic demand. And we can also judge this with respect to the 0.5, the slope given here. So because this slope is less than 1, right, then in that case the demand is inelastic. Okay, moving on to the next question. Now, which one of the following is part of the unconventional monetary policy? First, we know the repo rate. Repo rate is what? It is the interest rate at which the central bank lends money or short-term funds to the commercial banks to meet their CRR and SLR requirements. Right, so it is a regular practice by your monetary policy making. Okay, so current repo rate, you can write it down, is 5.25. Now, quantitative easing, right? This is an unconventional monetary policy and this is the answer. Now, what basically is quantitative easing? Now, in this case, the central bank the central bank will create new digital money, right? There will be a creation of new digital money which will be used to purchase the financial assets back from the banks and other private institutions. Financial assets such as your bonds and so on. So this is a new kind of a digital money or digital currency that is created by the RBI or the central bank to buy back the financial or the government assets that are there from the commercial banks and other private institutions. Okay. Next is the fractional banking. Fractional banking is basically the banks that will hold a small percentage of its deposits, right? And what will be these deposits? In form of liquid reserves, so that they can lend it out to the borrowers. So the banks, they keep certain amount of proportion of the deposits that are there from the customers, and that will be used for other lending purposes. Okay. And then it is the reverse repo rate, where the central bank, it is the rate or the interest rate that the central bank will pay to the commercial bank for borrowing requirements. Okay, so if the central bank needs some money or wants to borrow, right, from the commercial banks, the interest rate that central bank will pay to the bank is called your reverse repo rate. So the answer to this is quantitative easing, which is a part of the unconventional monetary policy. Okay, moving on to the next question. Now, which one of the following statements is not correct in the context of Keynesian Absolute Income Hypothesis? APC plus APS is equal to 1. This is a very common assumption that we have. Okay. Second is that marginal propensity to consume is constant. This is also an assumption made by the Keynesian hypothesis. Then average propensity to consume increases as income increases. No. Average propensity to consume decreases as income increases. It's the other way around. So the answer to this is C. Let's read the other one. Marginal propensity to consume plus MPS is equal to 1. This is also an assumption. Okay. So the correct answer is option C. Okay. Moving on to the last question. Now, this is a mathematical question, and that's why we always stress on the fact that your differentiation rules, integration rules, they should be very strong in such exams. Okay, and this is common for all the competitive exams in today's time. Okay, so please, whenever you are appearing for any sort of competitive exam in economics, make sure you are good with your differentiation, you're good with your integration, sets, matrices. These are very important topics, and nowadays even the theoretical exams have started focusing on this side of economics a lot. Okay, so let's start. Let f x comma y comma z is equal to x squared y cube z. Now then x into df by dx and so on will be equal to, let's calculate this, x into df dx is differentiating the function f with respect to x, we will get 2x y cube and z plus y into differentiating this function with respect to y, we'll get 3y square into x square into z plus differentiating the entire function with respect to z, we'll get x square y cube. Now solving this, we can say that it is 2x square y cube z plus x square 3y cube into z plus x square y cube into z. Now taking this x square y cube and z common, we get x square y cube z multiplied by 2 plus 3 plus 1, which is equal to 6 into x square y cube z, which is nothing but 6 into f x comma y comma z. So the answer to this is option D. right? So I hope there was some useful information included in this video and you found it helpful. We'll come up with another set of questions from the very same exam or the question paper in the next one. Till then, take care. Thank you so much for watching. All the best. Bye.